Hello, folks. Slightly Slanted Sleuth coming at you, Oakdale, Minnesota. I've got a little something to show you guys. I don't know if you guys recall back in, I don't know, about a year ago, year and a half ago, I started on the Danny Wilton train, or the Everything is in Orion. Everything is, here, says a little bit about it. I'm just going to breeze through it real quick. It shows that Orion is connected to the pyramids. Orion's connected to the Mississippi River Mound Builder Society or civilization. It's connected to the Hopewell culture. It's connected to the Mayans via the fire in the hearth creation myth in the galactic canoe. It's connected all kinds of different cultures around the world have all connected this to the matrix of all. Well, my point with this is that when I was doing all of this research into the phenomena of the only begotten Son, which is a black hole, is the dark star, or the I thought it was the second sun in our solar system, or the binary. But it turns out that the black hole is actually what everything is. Everything is point source. And this will all culminate in a very, very, very intriguing article that I just found today. And at the center of most black holes, or galaxies, is a black hole. And then the information paradox. Now this is why I postulated that the Milky Way, in essence, is a black hole. We reside within one, or within the plane of inertia of one, meaning that everything that's on the disk is in the 3D realm. That's why there's a layer. That's why there's an asteroid belt. That's why there's a Kuiper belt. That's why there's everything's on the ecliptic. It's all on one disk, except for the exclusion of a couple, different planets, like Pluto's at a 17-degree angle, and Sirius is. And that's why I postulate that 1/13/2020, that cross alignment that's coming up, is huge, because Sirius and Pluto are both involved in that. And it's Earth, Sun, Mercury, Sirius, Saturn, and Pluto, all in a line. And then on the left we got Venus, and on the right we got Mars. And if you think in a Hermetic sense, everything is dualistic. So I mean, everything, you have to marry the extreme opposites in your mind to come to a equilibrium of thought and understanding. But the information paradox, this process might shed some light on black hole puzzle. Quantum calculations seem to show that there is too much complexity within a black hole. In earlier work, the researchers calculated that it should be possible to create much more entropy, a measure of disorder, inside the black hole than is measured by outside observers. Now, I postulate that the reason for that is because everything is being pulled to the point source. Everything is point source, from atoms, molecules, everything. This is like a supercharged version of the old black hole information paradox, which pits the apparent destruction of objects and information that falls into a black hole against quantum mechanics, which states that quantum information can never be lost. The problem may be that we have a naive view of space, which breaks down inside the black hole. To calculate total entropy, Hamilton and Ptolemus assumed that you add up the possible states that matter and energy could take at different points in space. But along with other theorists, they suspect that this usual assumption, called locality, doesn't work inside a black hole. Somehow different points in space seem to share the same states, but it's not clear how. That's where visualizations like this might help. And they're talking about the the horizontal ring, which I believe is the accretion disk at a black hole, around. That's what the accretion disk of the Milky Way is the event horizon line or information disk. Okay. And Hermetic axioms. Nothing escapes the principle of cause and effect, but there are many planes of causation, and one may use the laws of the higher to overcome the laws of the lower, the kybalion. By an understanding of the practice of polarization, the Hermeticists rise to a higher plane of causation and thus counterbalance the laws of the lower planes of causation. By rising above the plane of ordinary causes, they become themselves in a degree causes instead of being merely caused. By being able to master their own moods and feelings, and by being able to neutralize rhythm, as we have already explained, they are able to escape a great part of the operations of cause and effect on the ordinary plane. The masses of people are carried along, obedient to their environment, the wills and desires of others stronger than themselves, the effects of inherited tendencies, the suggestions of those about them, and other outward causes which tend to move them about on the chessboard of life like mere pawns. By rising above these influencing causes, the advanced Hermeticists seek a higher plane of mental action, and by dominating their moods, characters, qualities, and powers, by which they overcome their ordinary environment and thus become practically players instead of mere pawns, such people help to play the game of life understandingly, instead of being moved about this way and that way by stronger influences and powers and wills. They use the principle of cause and effect instead of being used by it. Of course, even the highest and subject to the principle as it manifests on the highest planes, but on the lower planes of activity, they are masters instead of slaves, as the Kybalion says. The wise ones serve on the higher, but rule on the lower. They obey the laws coming from above them, but on their own plane and those below them, they rule and give orders. And yet, in doing, they form a part of the principle instead of opposing it. The wise man falls in with the law, and by understanding its movements, he operates instead of being its blind slave. Just as does the skilled swimmer turn this way and that way, going and coming as he will, instead of being as the log which is carried here and there, so is the wise man as compared to the ordinary man. And yet both swimmer and log, wise man and fool, are subject to law. He who understands this is well on the road to mastery, the Kybalion. In conclusion, let us again call your attention to the Hermetic axiom. True Hermetic transmutation is a mental art, the Kybalion. In the above axiom, the Hermeticists teach that the great work of influencing one's environment is accomplished by mental power. The universe being wholly mental, it follows that it may be ruled only by mentality. And in this truth, it is to be found an explanation of all the phenomena and manifestations of the various mental powers, which are attracting so much attention and study in these earlier years of the 20th century. Back of and under the teachings of the various cults and schools remains ever constant the principle of the mental substance of the universe. If the universe be mental in its substantial nature, then it follows that the mental transmutation must change the conditions and phenomena of the universe. If the universe is mental, then mind must be the highest power affecting its phenomena. If this be understood, then all the so-called miracles and wonder workings are seen plainly for what they are. The all is mind, the universe is mental, the Kybalion. And I draw your attention now to an article in Uplift on my Google news feed. The quantum physics of consciousness. In philosophical debate, particularly in philosophy of mind, the question of how mind and consciousness arise out of matter, or more specifically out of the physical neurological processes in our brains, has been a long-standing one, and it has baffled scientists and philosophers alike. When we speak or think of mind, it seems natural to suppose that it is directly linked to our brain, or our conscious thinking, including our cognitive functions, even if from our direct experience and observation there is no direct evidence or clue that could lead us to unambiguously understand that mind is what mind is. We do collectively intuit that mind is a phenomena that is deeply interrelated to our brain activity, and yet is something more. But what is this something more? This question alone has historically spurred some interesting theories of mind, together with various philosophical standpoints and debates. Now, I skipped over a bunch of different theories. There was, here, I'll name them off for you. Mind is a higher dimensional field, meaning that it is in a different dimension. Mind is a software and emergent effects from our brain matter. Mind is born from the matter. The mind-body problem. And these are all issues that they have faced when discussing this dilemma of understanding what consciousness is. And if nothing else, this is what I'm after, is the answer to what our consciousness is. The discussion about mind as a field ultimately goes beyond entertaining the possibility of answering long-standing philosophical questions. It opens a door exciting new possibilities that give us a completely new way of understanding the phenomenon. In a way, it is the classical conundrum of answering one question, opening another 100. But this is what is special about growth in knowledge. The real pearl inside this oyster of this theory, mind is the universe and everything is mind, is that mind is not individual or exclusive to us humans, as we have always assumed. A very short way of saying it is that mind is universe and that everything is mind. As the first principle of the Hermetic philosophy goes, all is mind. All is mind. So one of the things that science might have got fundamentally wrong, and which David Chalmers refers to as the hard problem of consciousness, is that it did not assume that consciousness and mind are fundamentally part of the everything that is. Consciousness is primary, even relative to matter. This starts to converge with ancient knowledge, or modern panpsychism, which hold that everything is imbued with consciousness. Matter arises out of consciousness, and not vice versa. But what does this have to do with Myers' theory of mind as a field? Well, for one, Myers holds the fourth dimensional field of mind is a torus shape, which we are now understanding is found everywhere in the universe. And that's the black hole thing. You know, the magnetosphere of our planet. It's everything on every scale. Secondly, fields are all interconnected with each other via quantum phenomena such as resonance, entanglement, and tunneling. This might explain that what we consider as psychic or extrasensorial phenomena such as precognition, clairvoyance, remote viewing, or telepathy. Meyer, in fact, sees consciousness as a boundary condition that exists between the internal information of the brain and everything else outside of it, which he refers to as the universal information matrix. It's just like the black hole event horizon, guys. It's the same thing, just played out over and over and over, but we are the macrocosm of the microcosm of the macrocosm. We are the first and the 13. We are the 1 and the 13, the beginning and the end, the alpha, the omega, the magnum opus, the prima materia. From this point of view, consciousness is similar to a phenomenon observed in black holes called an event horizon. When light or matter approach a black hole, they do not disappear, but their information is projected on its boundary. That boundary is what separates the black hole from everything else. And he uses this as an analogy to explain what consciousness could be from his research and insights. So at the bottom line of this thought-provoking and pivotal research is this: your brain is a quantum tuner that resonates with a field called mind. That mind field is connected to many other fields, and this might explain transpersonal and psychic experiences we could not previously explain through mainstream science. Not only that, folks, it explains that the all, God, and the divine union. When we understand our creative possibilities and understand that our pineal gland is the conduit, the lotus flower to Brahma, to the all, we are the creators of the Son of Man, the Son of God, in union with God. Everything in creation via matter is female. Got the female, the divine female aspect to it. And God is the male, the groom. The all inseminates you with the truth. And the aha moment, the ultimate aha moment, is the divine union spark, the light, the solar boat. The 33, the light cloud with 32 rays coming out of it. And the one is the one in the center, 33. This is the cloud. This is the only begotten. Every one of these rays are in threes, groups of threes, just like the Orion's belt. 333, 333, 333, 333, and then 2 coming out the front. Then I direct you to another article that says, based on this discovery, we need to rewrite astronomy textbooks. It has until now been assumed that gas surrounding black holes was donut-shaped. But scientists now believe the reality about black holes is far more complex after studying one 14 million light years away. Gas surrounding black holes spews from them in a 3D fountain, new research has revealed. Was Einstein wrong? Scientists probe supermassive black hole to disprove gravity theory. We'll leave that for another day. But look, here's the picture of the black hole that they're talking about. Researchers were observing a supermassive black hole at the center of the Sirius galaxy. Data from this was compared with a simulation of gas into a black hole using a Cray XC30 Atari supercomputer. Their conclusions challenge the belief that matter falling into a black hole builds up around them to form a donut structure. The results now suggest it is more of a 3-step process. Some of these molecules are expelled above and below the disk, then create a fountain-like structure. Previously, theoretical models set a prior assumption of rigid donuts, said Wada. Rather than starting from assumptions or simulation, our simulation started from the physical equations and showed for the first time that the gas circulation naturally forms a donut. Our simulation can also explain various observational features of the system. These findings have upended what we thought we knew. By investigating the motion and distribution of both the cold molecular gas and the warm atomic gas with ALMA, we demonstrated the origin of the so-called donut structure around active black holes. Based on the discovery, we need to rewrite astronomy textbooks. So what they're saying is it's not forced, it's naturally cohesive. Okay, I'll end this on the cosmic egg and light. The cosmic egg is everything. The light is the inseminator. Above this is heaven. The third is the pleroma, heaven. Light, cosmic egg, and above it is heaven, the pleroma. We create this light within a finite boundary, the cosmic egg, in union with the third aspect, which is pleroma, God, the all. Too hot is earth. Too cold is the truth. Just right is heaven. In the Three Little Bears story. But I thought you guys might get a kick out of this. But I mean, the light is shaped as a cross. Also, looks like a lion's mane. Also looks like a bird. A solar boat, like a Viking ship. Over and over and over. I mean, it's everywhere in our society. Look and ye shall see. Love, peace, chicken grease, you all. Thanks.